What's up guys, Matt here with the YouTube channel BleepinJeep, everything off-road, none of the boring stuff, and today we are doing the walk-around of the Comancheep, not to be confused with the Comancheep. Let's get started. Oh my, you are so dirty. Okay, so first question, why did I call this the Comancheep? Well, if you watch the videos, you'll know. We started out with a CJ7 that I bought for $10,000. It had all the drivetrain, the motor, the running gear, everything that I needed to make this a true heap. Mismatched parts, all kinds of crazy stuff, and we just threw it in this $450 Comanche that I bought, two-wheel drive, with a crapped out motor. So as you know, I finished this build back in February and I've been putting off the walk around because, as you know, a Jeep is never finished and there's so many things that I still want to do to this yet, but I figured got to do the walk around at some point. You guys are asking for it. So let's just start right up front here. No better place to start than the front. So what does this Comancheep have to offer? Well, right up front we've got the KC highlights. This thing is bad to the bone. This is the Pro 6 LED light bar and it's beautiful. Love that thing. Up next we've got a worn winch. We've got rough country LED headlights. I had to take and cut all this out right here because I had to fit some massive 42-inch TSL swampers up front. Now this bumper was custom built by me to look like a W in the shape of none other than the worn. Right up top here we've got the custom BleepinJeep hood scoops. We're also working on hood vents which will face the other direction. If you're interested in those, check out bleepinjeep.com/store. And also, oh, did you see that? These hood pins are the shiznit. Super easy, just one click of a button. You don't have to have a pin where you have to find a place to put it and then you drive off and lose the darn thing. Super simple, just the click of a button, easy click down. I think there's a donkey over there. Okay, and over here on the driver's side we have a Pro 6 KC Highlights light bar. Did I mention this video is brought to you by KC Highlights? Okay, we've got this custom tube work that I built on this thing. Now all of this stuff pretty much has a video that corresponds with. I kind of built this in a hurry back in January and February to make it to the Easter Jeep Safari, but there's a lot of this stuff in the videos if you want to go back and check it out. So I built this tube work to go around it. I kept the vintage 1980s theme you'll see inside as well, and on the back it's completely a truggy. So there's I cut the frame off on the back and it's all tube work from there on out. To give it some support for the rocks, we've got a 2x8 piece of 1/4-inch steel for the rock sliders. The tube joins into that. It's also connected to the frame underneath, and I went ahead and left this back part long to have a bit of a workstation back here, and I found a vise that matched the paint and mounted it up right here. I still need to figure out something for the other side. That's a good question for you. What would go good for the other side to offset the vise? This thing is actually really sweet. You may ask, why would you need a vise out on the trail? Well, if you've ever done any wheeling hard enough, you know that you're going to be out fixing and repairing things, and this has already come in handy twice now, I believe, and I've only wheeled it maybe 4 times. Now the back end is pretty cool. Like I said, it's all made out of tube work. We've got 2 tubes that come out from the frame, and then there's pieces that connect those as well. This top piece comes from outside, wraps around, comes back, connects to what we call the duck butt. And then in the back we've got a power tank that supplies air for air tools or airing up your tire. There's a custom fuel cell right behind the cab that has a sump in it, so it'll be hard to run out of fuel unless you're down to about a gallon, which is great. We've got Fox shocks on this thing with remote reservoirs. These are coilovers. I've got an Optima yellow top battery mounted right behind the cab as well, kind of tucked in underneath the fuel cell. We've got an external Bosch fuel pump and, of course, KC highlights. On the back of the roll cage here, this is super important. We've got two quick release fire extinguisher mounts. You pull the pin, pops right off. Whenever you need a fire extinguisher, you need it fast. So we've got these. We make them in America. You can find them on BleepinJeep.com. Passenger side is pretty much the same with the exception of the KC highlights. But if you'll notice here, I tried to match the tubes to the body lines of the Comanche. I think it turned out pretty good. Alright, let's see if I can get under here. We'll talk about what we've got. So we have a Dana 60 front and rear on this thing. We built a little skid plate. My buddy Jeremy helped me a lot with this. We mounted the steering. It's got hydro assist steering, so there's a single-ended ram, and it still has a pitman arm and all that good stuff. Up front, I went with the leaf springs. Now, why did I do that? I get this question a lot. If I were to do it again, I would go with a 3-link probably, or a 4-link. But I went with the leaf springs because I wanted to keep this a Comanche heap in the theme of the build. Take that CJ7, use what it had exactly, and try to mount it onto this. And that worked. Seems to work okay. It was a real pain in the butt to set up leaf springs when you have no idea where they're supposed to be mounted or located. If I were to do it again, I would not. KC highlights, anybody? So on the back here, I have these slider boxes on the back part of the leaf springs. And a lot of people had never seen these before. No, I didn't invent them. They've been around for a long time. And what this does, there's a piece of plastic in here, a bushing, and it slides back and forth and takes the place of your shackle. So instead of having a swinging shackle hanging down under here, this just slides back and forth. So when your front axle flexes down or flexes up, this slides forward and it slides back. And the reason that you might do that is to keep this giant bar thing, shackle thing, from hanging down and smacking on things, and it just keeps it up tighter, tucked in a little more. So in the back here, we've got another Dana 60, 513 gears, of course. It's got a truss on top of it and a 4-link, and if you're wondering, the KC highlights are not permanently mounted right there. They're just for show. You like that? So underneath here, we're running Adams Driveshafts. Customer service from them is great, by the way. I can't recommend them enough. Then over here on the front side, we've got the Beast. That's the name of the belly skid and the engine skid there. Exhaust comes out on the driver's side, and we're running Advanced Adapters Atlas transfer case. And it's almost impossible to see, but tucked up under there is a TH400 transmission, custom built with a reverse manual valve body. A lot of parts came from Novak Conversions, great company as well. But the best part is under the hood. Oh Jesus, how did that get in there? God. Like I said, the best part is under the hood, KC highlights. But behind that is a 5.3 LS motor. I was able to cram in a truck motor into this bad girl. Didn't really want to fit. Had to cut the frame a lot. But a lot of people said it couldn't be done. But I wanted to prove them that it could. So, over here we've got the shock towers. They're kind of hard to see now, but they're in there. We've got onboard air here as well with a York air compressor. We have a Novak Conversions radiator. This is one bad radiator right here. Huge radiator, but it will fit. Cherokee in stock form, but great for an LS swap as well. All right, let's take a look at the interior. Holy smokes. So the interior is vintage, right out of the 1980s as well. So we've got the red cloth interior. I got new carpet. It's hard to see, but it's red down there. Doors, beautiful. Steering wheel, dash, all red. I still need to finish up on the ceiling. The header panel was all torn to shreds, so I got to find a new one of those. Got a sliding back window. And before I hop in there, this is the roll bar. It's connected to the roll bar, but that's the seat harness bar. And it is connected through right here. So it goes through the cab and goes across into the other side. Let me hop in here. Oh, come on. You weren't happy out there, now you want to ride along too? Alright, check this out, guys. This is a Winters shifter, and I have it in the reverse manual valve body pattern, which means it goes from park to neutral, park to reverse to neutral to first, second, third. Now the reason you would do that is if you're climbing a giant hill and you start to flip over backwards, you can jam it into reverse by just pushing straight up. You don't have to click and try to go through the shifters or try to figure out where it's at. Just one click up into reverse and you can back out of a jam really quick. Now these are the shifters for the Atlas transfer case. So I've got, this is my rear axle, low, neutral, high, and my front axle, low, neutral, and high. I still need to mount these somewhere, the gauges and whatnot. Need to put a stereo in here. Like I said, everybody was asking for the Walkaround, and I'm not done with it yet, but figured I'd go ahead and do it. What else we got here? There's a lot of room in the back, actually, behind the seats. If you look at the way the seats come down, there's probably a foot on the bottom, and then it works its way up to, what is that, about 4 or 5 inches on the top. So there's more room in here than you would think. But it is a hot box in the summer because there's no AC. Alright guys, I'm sure I missed a lot of things, so let's go over it real quick. First of all, KC Highlights Pro 6 light bar right up on top. We have 42-inch tires on this thing with bead locks, Dana 60 front and rear. We've got an Atlas transfer case, TH400 transmission, automatic. That's an automatic transmission with a reverse manual valve body. A lot of those parts from that came from Novak conversions, along with the awesome radiator. We've got a Warn winch on the front, Xeon 10S, I think it is. Xeon 12S. Got the bad boy for this one. We've got the cage, we've got the leaf springs in the front, we've got the 4-link in the back, we've got the coilovers with the remote reservoirs in the rear, power tank for onboard air or filling up your tires in the back. That's also great for using tools because there's like 300 psi that you can get out of that thing. And then we have also onboard air from a York air compressor under the hood. We're running Adams Driveshafts, 513 gears and Dana 60 axles. The rear is full spool and the front is a Detroit locker. We've got Corbeau seats on the inside, PRP seat belts. We've got red, full lush interior straight out of the 1980s, along with the vintage theme of the paint job, which I never even touched. Under the hood, we've got a 5.3 LS truck motor with a cam and a Texas Motorsports tune. We've got rough country headlights up in the front. We have a custom fuel cell made out of aluminum in the rear with a sump and external Bosch pump. Oh yeah, KC Highlights Pro 6 light bar. How can I forget that? Out back we've got the pointy spikes, which everybody seems to love, the duck butt, and can't forget the slider boxes. Now, before I forget the wheelbase, a lot of people ask me about that. It looks really short, doesn't it? But what would you guess? The wheelbase is 126 inches, give or take. The rear axle needs to be adjusted, so right now it's about 126 on one side and 127 on the other side. Now remember, if you're interested in the hood louvers or the hood pins or the fire extinguisher mounts, we also have yoke tools and some other great awesome things on BleepinJeep.com/store. It's getting dark, guys. I appreciate you hanging in there with me for this one, the big reveal of the Project Comancheep. Actually not, it's just a walk around. Anyway, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you enjoyed the videos. If you really enjoyed the videos and want to see more, check out our Patreon, or pretty soon I'm going to have a little thing at the bottom of this YouTube thing that says support or donate or something like that. Check that out, because that'll be rolling out very soon. Oh, before I forget, we're having a fan ride. Everybody asks for a fan ride, so we're doing it. It's going to be October 6th. Right here in East Tennessee. So if you're interested in that, go to BleepinJeep.com/store and look for the fan ride. Read through that. It's going to be $125, but you get a t-shirt, you get fed, you get trail rides. There's going to be a raffle. Check that out. BleepinJeep.com/store. Fan ride, first one on the East Coast, or the eastern side of the United States. And then also we do one every year during Easter Jeep Safari for the last 2 years. All right, that's enough. Bye.